everyone! Today we're going to learn how to make a kaleidoscope out of a Pringles can. The first step is to actually find out which angles are going to work best. Now we don't have time today to go through how to construct an object that will actually show you the angles, but that can be found at the video with the URL at the bottom of your screen. However, we are going to look at the angles that do make nice kaleidoscopes because no one wants an ugly looking kaleidoscope. And it's the reflections of mirrors that actually make the kaleidoscopes work. So come on with me as we look at the angles. So the first angle we're going to look at is with a three-pointed star. So you just kind of move your points together and you can see that this angle is about 60 degrees. So a 60-degree angle will work. As will a 45-degree angle, which creates a four-pointed star, or a 36-degree angle, which makes a five-pointed star. And if we take a small jump to a nine-pointed star, your angle is about 20 degrees. So, can anyone see a pattern emerging? The pattern is that the number of points on the star can be determined by the angle. So in order to create a connected star, you want to divide 180 degrees by the number of points on the desired star. The resulting number will be the measure of the angle. So if you look at the chart, having 3 points gives you a 60-degree angle, having 4 points, 45, 5 points, 36 degrees, 9 points, 20. But then if we don't know how many points there are, we can use n. And 180 divided by n will give us the degrees needed to form a beautiful star. So I hope you guys got that the number of points on a star is connected to the angle inside of the star. So we're going to use that to make our kaleidoscope. But now we need to know, what exactly do we need to make a kaleidoscope? The materials needed to make a kaleidoscope are actually pretty easy. You're going to need to get 1 can of Pringles, minus the Pringles, so eat them, give them to your neighbor, etc. You're also going to need 2 Pringles lids. The first one's easy to get. It just comes right off of the can. The second one you may have to take from your neighbor or go digging through some garbage. Who knows? Maybe the recycling has one. So you're going to need 2 lids. Now, a kaleidoscope only works because there's mirrors on the inside. So, if you have access to mirrors, good for you. You can just cut those down to the proper size, easy peasy. Now, I'm a poor college student, so I don't have access to that stuff. So I'm going to be a bit more creative and use some cardboard and aluminum foil. Both of these are easy to access. The thinner the cardboard, but the sturdier, the better. So thinner makes it easier to measure, however thicker makes it sturdier. It's kind of a personal preference type thing. The next thing you're going to need is some beads. The smaller and sparklier the beads, the better, but any type of bead will work. Those are going to go in the lids and make the designs within the kaleidoscope. The last thing you're going to need is some tape. The tape is to hold different things together, such as the lids or the cardboard tubes within the kaleidoscope. So, that's it. That's all you need. Okay, so I lied a little itsy bitsy bit. There are a couple more things that you need for the project. You're going to need a ruler. The ruler is to measure the can of Pringles. You're going to need a screw, or I'm using a screwdriver, essentially something to poke a hole through the Pringles can. And if you have a hammer, great. I don't, so I'm going to use a textbook to hammer in my screwdriver. Got it? Good. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take our ruler and measure the radius or diameter of the Pringles can. So we take our Pringles can and we measure the diameter. Preferably in centimeters because centimeters is easier. And I have the center being 7.2 centimeters. Now remember, you want to measure the inside diameter, not the outside. So the inner circle. Because if you measure from the outside, your angles are going to be off and then your kaleidoscope won't work. Since my Pringles can has a diameter of 7.2 centimeters, I've created a digital replica of the inside of the Pringles can to find out what sizes my mirrors need to be. So, to do that, I'm just going to construct some segments on here. The first one's going to be a straight segment, and I'm going to measure that. So, go up to measure, length. It's going to be 6.86. Now, off of that, I want to create a perpendicular line because my kaleidoscope is going to be 90, 60, 30, which will create the most stars inside of my kaleidoscope. However, you could also do 60, 60, 60, or 90, 45, 45. It's entirely up to you, whatever works best. So I'm going to click on that, and click on a dot, and measure a perpendicular line. So once we have our perpendicular line, we're going to want to create a point of intersection between the circle and the perpendicular line. From that intersection, we're going to click on it and click on the line, and then we're going to want to measure an angle, or create an angle. So we're going to click rotate, fixed angle, and we're going to want to rotate it 60 degrees. So as you can see, there's a new line created. So we're just going to hit rotate, and as you can see, we have a new line on the screen. So we're going to click on this new line, and the point of intersection, go to construct, parallel line. So as you can see, this lovely little new line here that makes this triangle is actually going to be the triangle we use in our kaleidoscope. So as you can tell, this triangle is itsy bitsy teeny weeny, and we don't really want an itsy bitsy teeny weeny triangle. We want a big triangle to make our kaleidoscope so you can see the best image. So I'm going to come back to you guys after I fool around with this a little bit and show you my big triangle. It's going to take a little bit of time and effort to get this part right, but trust me, if you take the time and do this part correctly, your kaleidoscope is going to be awesome. Now we have our triangle inscribed within our circle. The angle of the triangle, just like I said earlier, is 30, 60, 90. So we have our 30-degree angle, which is right by here, angle M, our 60-degree angle, which is angle O, and our 90-degree angle, which is angle N. You can see it right on the triangle. Because we now have our angle, and they're inscribed within the circle, we also have the lengths of the sides. So the length of LM is 6.86. The length of OM is 7.03, and the length of NO is 3.52. As you can see in the triangle, it doesn't completely match up with all the sides. Yours might be different, per se, if you're doing a 60, 60, 60 degree triangle. All the triangles are unique, and yours might not be the same as your neighbor's, and that is perfectly fine. Okay, the hard part is over. Now it's time for the fun, easy stuff. The first thing we need to do is figure out how exactly tall is our Pringles can. So we take our ruler, drop it in with the 1 centimeter first. Just measure how tall our Pringles can is. Mine is 26.4 centimeters. Exciting. So now I just take my piece of cardboard and measure 26 centimeters, 26.4 centimeters to be exact. Just make a snip and cut it right off. So I'm just going to cut it, and then I'm also going to measure the lengths. So we had 6.86, and just measure that out and create a strip. Conveniently, I already have one cut out. So now all I need to do is cover it with aluminum foil. So you take the aluminum foil, make sure it's the shiny side, because aluminum has two sides. The shiny side and then the really shiny side. So you want to take the really shiny side and put it face up. And just put your cardboard in, wrap it in there, so you create the shiny mirrored thing. You want to repeat that for the length and the other two widths. Conveniently, I already have it done. It's like a cooking show. So first you want to measure a 90-degree angle between two of your pieces. So for me, it was the biggest piece and the tiniest piece, and those share a 90-degree angle. If you're not quite sure, you can use a protractor or some other type of measuring tool. Yep, 90 degrees. So then you just take your tape and tape it. Easy peasy. And then you want to continue to do this and attach your third angle. So you would have 60 degrees at one end and 30 degrees at the other. I already have one I made earlier. See? Hello! I used a different type of aluminum foil, so you can't see it on the inside, but it's okay because you only see the inside of your kaleidoscope anyways. It's all taped together, ready to go. So you just stick it right inside of your Pringles can. Perfect. Okay, now comes a little tricky part. You want to look through, and you can't see anything, right? That's because there's no hole. So this is where your screwdriver comes in. So you want to pull out your screwdriver and kind of eyeball where the center of your triangle would be. Stick your screwdriver on there and just whack the book. So you create a hole. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little hole. And now when you look through, you can see everything, but you have no beads yet. So this is where your two lids come in. Okay, it's the very, very, very last step of our kaleidoscope. Well, not the very, very last step, but you're almost done. So you take one of your Pringles lids and you just want to fill it with beads. Fill it with beads. The smaller, like I said earlier, the smaller the bead, the better. The shinier, the better. Can't be too picky. Make sure they're all nice and flat. And then you want to take your other lid and just tape it. So you don't want to tape the two open parts together so it creates like a box. You want to take your second Pringles lid, and you know how it's got the lip so it'll fit on the edge? You want to put that side facing up. So the two Pringles lids are actually facing the same way. And then you'll just want to tape those together. Put them down and tape up the edge. You'll probably need more than one piece of tape unless you're really talented and can do it all in one. Okay. Oops. There we go. Nice bit of tape on the edge. So now you have this awesome thing. Look at it. It's cool. It's shiny. It's colorful. It's awesome. So now you take your Pringles can with your mirrors inside and your lid. Just pop your lid on, just like you were closing up the Pringles can to eat them. Look through your hole. Look up at the light. And enjoy your star formations. There you go. You have a Pringles can kaleidoscope. Impress your family, impress your friends, and I'll see you next time.